So I've been spending some time recently with Reason 8, and this is the recent update to Reason. I've got a bit of a history of Reason. You know, a long time ago I used it a lot, and one of the great things about it was a fantastic educational platform. And when I was at Point Blank, it was absolutely integral to the whole concept of teaching signal flow. Just going to push tab here and take you around the back of the rack, and you can literally see tons of cables. And for those of us who come from the hardware background, this kind of stuff makes perfect sense, and I would encourage everybody to start understanding the concept of signal flow properly, because it enables you to get the most out of so many different things in music production. So that's one aspect that I think is incredibly important about Reason, and I'm gonna make sure that I get some time to create some videos that focus on signal flow using this, because that whole cable routing thing is fantastic. Now, as well as the rack, you know, this kind of hardware ethic, there are obviously some new things that have come through. It's been a while since I've used Reason, so this is not an exhaustive review of the new features by any means, okay? But what I've noticed is that, you know, this section on the left-hand side that you can see the browser, this is certainly something that is one of the key elements of it, and I'll be really honest with you, it enabled me to put together the musical idea that I've got here together incredibly quickly. All right, so it was a real godsend when I was making the track idea. What I found really interesting about using Reason is that it's made me think more about what I'm doing. It's made me focus on what I'm doing. Too many of the kind of devices that you can get on the other DAWs, I feel kind of guiding you down a certain path. They're almost helping you a bit too much. What happens for me in terms of when I came back to Reason here is that it really takes things back to this kind of raw ethic of music making, and so it really has been it's been a very interesting experience for me, because I found that I've started making music in a very different way. I've started basically really getting in there and working sounds, building up sounds, working on the musical aspects as well, and it's ended up being something really different. I've ended up doing a cover version of the Ayers classic Everybody Loves the Sunshine. Given that it's middle of October, it's kind of the wrong time to do it, but I don't know why it happened. It just came out this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take you through it. I'm going to show you some of the things that I did to get the sound that I've ended up with. And, you know, it's all Reason devices. There is nothing here going on that's any other DAW or any application, anything else. It's literally just Reason in standalone. And I'll play it to you. Let me just take a few of these elements off, and I'll bring some of these in as time goes on. So yeah, it's a different kind of vibe. It's more of a kind of a 80s boogie kind of sort of thing going on there. The tempo's a bit faster. It's certainly not house. And I'll play it to you. So let's just come back, and just going to come back to the very beginning, and I'll play it. Let's have a listen. So I'll take you through what I did here. Basically started off with the beats, and these are coming from Kong. So we've got these little shortcut buttons here. We can go direct to the sequence, and we can go direct to the rack. So Kong's over here. It's like an 80s kind of kit, and I'll play the beats on their own. And I tell you what inspired me, I had a memory of that track, Let's Hear It for the Boy by Denise Williams. So you might hear that kind of an echo of that. I certainly didn't play it and copied it, but it was kind of a memory from hearing that in the charts back in the day. So that was the beat, and then basically I had the tambourine on top. So if I just solo these two. So this is coming from the Octarex, and that's a Rex file player. So it's a little loop that's been copied down to the sequencer track. You can hear that. The bass line, let me just show you here on the rack. This is a Thor. This is a Model Double D bass. So it's got that mini moog kind of flavor. I actually customized that patch a little bit. I think basically the only thing really I did was put the portamento onto the notes of bending and adjusted the filter cutoff there, and that's all programmed in there, and I had a lot of fun with that. It was good fun to program. Let me just double click on this and bring it up. It's kind of hard to see it because of the resolution at the moment, but I don't want to kind of mess the way things are visually, or maybe actually I'll give it a bit more space here. So you can see that. So that was programmed in. I need to do some variations really to make this track work over time. It's fine going on the 8-bar loop at the moment. So, you know, Thor's a wicked synthesizer, that's for sure. The other elements, I tell you what, I did an Instagram video earlier today. I was playing around with this guitar vibe. So let me just show you. So, yeah, take a look at the Instagram vid. You know what I was looking for, let me show you here on the rack, was a picked bass sound. I couldn't find one, so I had to listen through the ID8, which is like a workstation of real kind of staple bread and butter sounds. And there was a bass patch here, the pick bass. I played it higher, worked with the EQ a bit. So let me just show you actually. So I kind of worked with this. You can see some effects going on here. There were send effects, but with the EQ, I really thinned it out. So it's lost the bassy aspect. And this is being compressed by the inbuilt dynamics on the channel strip here. So that made a real nice, almost a kind of live kind of feel to that, and that was working well. A couple of other elements. This was the synth is a custom patch that I built in Thor. So really, it's just a couple of oscillators with different tuning, as you can see here. Bit of a filter movement going on there with the filter envelope. So what else? Chords. And what was going on with this was that this was like a sample that I had. And that was kind of the starting point, really, I suppose. You know, the chords, they reminded me of Everybody Loves the Sunshine. So it's just a sample dropped into the NN19. What I would do with more time is to really just get those keys in properly and then start working with some other elements. And then what else we got? The strings. Let me show you here the rack. This is the default strings patch, the orchestral one. This is on the ID8, but with a longer release. So we got that nice overlap, which is a real classic thing about those Roy Ayers tunes. So another thing was a little synth riff here. This is another custom patch. Let me show you that. Let me just take off some of the other elements. Let me take off that synth, the strings. So that's just like a counterpoint to the guitar. So they're working quite nicely together. And then a pad. What's interesting actually rhythmically is that when the guitar's not there, there is less energy in the track. So as a composition, that guitar's really picking up the energy, as is the tambourine. So really it's just the early days of this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a opportunity to start trying to work with the audio side of Reason, which is something that I haven't worked with before. I've heard it's very good for recording, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to get some vocals down at some point. So I'm definitely going to need to do a follow-up on that, and yeah, I'm definitely going to develop the idea. Wrong time of year, like I said, but potentially next year this could be a real nice one. Couple more things to show you. Let's just focus on the rack here. The reason why it sounds as it does is because I made an amendment to the kind of the settings here, and these are the kind of standard inserts that you get on the master section. I dropped in the screen because it's an amazing sounding processor, and I'm using this to add a ton of character. So let me just take that off, have a listen. So it feels slightly devoid of life. It's mad. Let me turn this on, have a listen. So it's really got this old kind of vintage energy, but also it's kind of hyped it up as well. So this is the tape algorithm of the Screen 4 distortion. So speed is set that so it's nice and bright, and then it's actually using this compressor over here to really bind it together. So it's gelling the mix together, making it sound great. The EQ here, just a little bit of a dip on the mids and then a little bit of a lift on the highs as well, really helps. And some saturation here from the damage control. So it's sounding great. Also, just with the EQ here, just a little bit of low frequency boost, so 48 or so hertz with almost 2 dBs gain, and then also this roll off on the bottom as well for the low sub. All right, so have a listen again. Let me just bring back some of those other missing elements, that synth riff and the strings. And yeah, probably that'll do. And yeah, I'll definitely be doing some more Reason videos. Like I said, I want to do something based on signal flow because the whole concept of the rack is amazing.